Cobra Kai is really good into tricking you that it's high art. Yes, I think it's worth watching, but no, I don't think everyone should be watching it. My goal for this video is to hopefully help you decide if this show is right for you, and also, I just want to talk about Cobra Kai. I'm not going to be praising the show all the time here, but whatever I might say later, I want to make it clear that the basics are nailed down. Plot, theme, characterization, setting. This video wouldn't be made if they weren't. The story is clear and enjoyable with well-rounded characters that have morals and arguments worth talking about. No Riverdale, Dragon Prince, or Legend of Korra nonsense.
Okay, what does it do?
Put these on, and you'll see.
What's up?
Okay, maybe a little nonsense, but that's towards the end later. The writers understand what setup and payoff mean, and at the end of every season, everything makes sense, leaving you properly hyped for the next installment. So the only things that might turn you off are the content itself and how it's structured. If you don't vibe with the story, you don't vibe with the story, and I don't blame you because it's got a really 80s vibe.
I thought that guy might have changed, but he's still the same prick. I heard you beat up a bunch of teenagers.
I didn't beat up any teenagers. I kicked the crap out of a bunch of assholes who deserved it.
A little summary is in order. Johnny Lawrence, after losing a karate tournament back in the 80s, had his life spiral out of control. He works odd jobs, lives in a rundown apartment, lost contact with all of his friends, and has a kid that hates him. This all turns around when he meets Miguel Diaz and saves him from his bullies. This sparks a fire back in him, and he decides to reopen his old dojo and train Miguel in the way of the fist. The dojo's main tenets are strike first, strike hard, no mercy. And here is the main conflict of the show, because these tenets are taken to their logical extremes, and it's up to Johnny to reinvent the wheel, doing everything he can to make sure that his students don't go down the same road he did while still teaching them how to be badass. Side note, the series is funny, more funny than I could possibly describe it. Most of it is situational, coming from Johnny's mindset seemingly still being trapped in the past, but when it decides to tell a joke, 9 times out of 10, it hits the ball out of the park.
Losers!
No, Sensei!
Are you nerds?
No, Sensei!
Are you sure?
No, Sensei!
So pros and cons of Cobra Kai. Cobra Kai can't be watched separately from the Karate Kid movies, except the 4th one, but we don't talk about the 4th one. Compare that to any show that's part of the MCU though, and Cobra Kai's bar of entry is pretty low for a 40-year-old franchise. You only need to see Cobra Kai 1, 2, and 3, then seasons 1 to 6. This way, you're not going to miss out on any of the overt references, and it's probably what the filmmakers intended as the viewing order. I think there's a better way though. Watch movie 1, then season 1, then movie 2, then season 2, movie 3, season 3, then season 4, 5, and 6. This is the way I watched it, and seeing Danny's side of the story, then having Johnny describe it, it's comedy gold.
Russo kept butting it.
What's going on?
I told him to get lost, mind your own business. Out of nowhere, the guy sucker punches.
I recommend this order for 2 reasons. 1, the movies act as bumpers to ease you into the vibes, so you're not exclusively binge watching the series or the movies. The movies also act as refreshers or palate cleansers after each season. And 2, the critiques of the later movies and the critiques of the later seasons are basically the same, which is expected because they follow the same kind of progression. I said that the series has a little bit of a barrier to entry. What I didn't say was that the barrier rises a lot. If we put it into a graph, the suspension of disbelief demanded of the first movie and the first season is really low. The script is comparatively simple. Kid is bullied, learns karate, life good. Kid is bullied, learns karate, life not so good. But then we get to the third movie and it's Kid wants to start a life for himself, but the teacher of his old bully teams up with a millionaire and harasses him into joining a karate tournament and the dojo of his rival. And the third season is Karate Gang War. Yes, the main characters are indeed jumped inside their own house, and this kid is literally thrown through a window. These are not spoilers, they're really surface level basic stuff. I'm not saying that this evolution or change is necessarily bad, I'm saying that they demand a lot from their audience to keep you from rolling your eyes. Again, the plot, theme, characterization, and setting are all still solid, but you need to have a high tolerance for cheese to roll with the absurdity. At least we're not talking about Karate Kid 4. You know, I haven't actually watched Karate Kid 4 and don't plan on watching it anytime soon. But I'm still going to keep bringing it up. It's actually interesting because before the series, I'd also recommend not watching Karate Kid 2 and 3, but the series elevates them to such a degree that they're not just tolerable, they're actually enjoyable. Dare I say even recommendable, if you follow my watch order, that is. Speaking of cheese, there's a lot of that. The franchise is dripping with it. Cobra Kai is blunt and sincere and knows exactly when to pull emotional scenes without undercutting them with jokes. Bathos be damned, this is an action drama and I like drama. The series is at its best when it knows this.
You want to be Cobra Kai? You want to be Cobra Kai? You want to be Cobra Kai?
Counteractively, the series is at its worst when it focuses a little too much on the drama.
There's no way that we can win. At this point, I'd rather not lose any more brain cells.
Oh my god, dude, we get it. You're going to MIT. You should let them know about your rank-ass farts.
Mitri wants to go to MIT, but Eli doesn't. Are they going to end their lifelong friendship over the stupidest argument ever? Who knows? Again, inconsequential spoilers by the way, but I think this is a byproduct of writing a karate series in general. To have characters interact, you have to have them talk. If talking isn't enough, then you have to get them to act indirectly, and when that's not enough, you get them to act directly. In a karate series, you need to skip those first two steps and act directly most of the time, or else there's not gonna be much karate. I've read that the show is comparable to a live-action anime, and that tracks.
The fate of the team lies in the hands of the hopelessly injured Kuwabara. Will Yusuke and the others be able to watch as their chance for survival dwindles away?
The last thing I want to touch on is that this is a really male-centric show. Girls aren't exactly excluded from liking the Karate Gang War series, and they aren't underrepresented either. This isn't a cartoon saloon production where every MC's opposite gender is a caricature, or early Dragon Ball and DBZ where there is no girl representation. Sam and Tori's characters are just as compelling as Miguel and Robbie, but I have to admit that the main struggle of the series is between Johnny and Daniel, which started because they were fighting for a girl that didn't even appear again. And I still don't think that's a bad thing. Shows have a right to focus on a demographic. That's how target audiences work. Cobra Kai mainly wants people who watched the original Karate Kid to watch it, and that's fine. What I'm trying to say is, my sister probably won't enjoy watching this show, but my grandma would love it. Should you watch Cobra Kai? So let's recap. 1. There's a barrier to entry that rises, but if you follow my viewing order, that barrier sinks and the rise isn't so steep. 2. The series drips sincerity and believes in its characters enough to let them be emotional and cry and stuff. And 3. Its main target demographic are guys that like karate. If you like even 2 of those 3 things listed here, give the series a shot. You'd be surprised how well Cobra Kai pulls them off.
So, epilogue over here. After watching the series, you should watch the 2010 Karate Kid with Will Smith's son to prepare you for Karate Kid Legends that'll come out later this year. Thanks for watching. I've always wanted to make longer form videos, but if you've seen any of my other content, you'd know they're not that fantastic. So I'll probably still be making more shorts. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.